Hi, I'm Michael Gross, host of the B&O TV network. While the railroads were predominantly built and operated by men, women began working for the railroad in 1855. It wasn't until the male labor shortage brought on by the World Wars that women were brought into the workforce in large numbers. The federal government established the Rosie the Riveter campaign in 1942 to encourage women to enter the domestic labor market. By 1945, over 259,000 women went to work for the railroad industry, several thousands of them in non-traditional jobs. Telegraphers were essential to rail operations. However, women were usually paid much less than men. The fact that every station had a telegraph meant that there were opportunities for mobility and a career in every town, and advancement was a possibility for those women who chose to pursue it. Emma Hunter was an operator in West Chester, Pennsylvania, who worked out of her parlor in 1851 at a salary of $50 a year. That is an equivalent of approximately $1,279 a year today. Elizabeth Cogley became a telegraph operator in 1856 and served for 44 years. She retired in 1900 as chief messenger with a monthly pension of $26.05, which is equal to approximately $666 today. Civil War widow Hedy Ogle started her career in 1861. She was the manager of the Johnstown, Pennsylvania Western Union office during the 1889 Johnstown flood. She remained at her post and perished in the flood, as did her daughter Minnie. Between 1900 and 1917, only a handful of women were employed by United States railroads as brakemen and baggage handlers. Most were employed by railroads in clerical and domestic roles as car cleaners and maids. America entered World War I in April of 1917, mobilizing millions of men. A shortage of labor created major problems for the nation's railroads, leading to a government takeover with the creation of the United States Railroad Administration, or USRA. Women were employed in stations, machine shops, rail yards, and roundhouses. By October 1918, over 100,000 women were employed by the railroads. While most did clerical or cleaning work, several thousand women engaged in what were then male-dominated skilled and unskilled jobs in shop production. The B&O's Mount Clair shops employed 20 women in heavy jobs, one of whom stayed until after World War II. Amy Fisher worked at the Mount Clair shops for over 25 years. She operated a steam hammer, which was a gigantic power-driven tool used to shape metal in the Ford shop. She was so precise that she could bring the giant hammerhead right down to tap the crystal of a pocket watch without causing a crack. At the end of World War I, some women remained in the employment of the B&O, primarily in domestic or clerical jobs. A graduate of Goucher College and Columbia University, Olive Dennis began railroading in 1920 when she went to work as a draftsman in the bridge engineering department of the B&O. Within a year, her ability won her admission to the ranks of the railroad elite, traditionally an exclusive male province. Appointed to the position of engineer of service, she reported directly to the president. In 1946, she was appointed research engineer for the B&O. She created a new ventilation system for passenger cars, non-glare ceiling lights that could be dimmed at night, interiors with attractive restful colors like sea green and mulberry, and reclining contoured seats with adjustable footrests. Dennis also designed the B&O's famous blue and white centenary pattern for its dining car china to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the B&O Railroad in 1927. The design featured historic locomotives and passenger cars around the rim of dinner plates and centerpieces illustrating historic tunnels, viaducts, and scenery along the B&O's picturesque route. Julia O'Rose, a proud member of the Homefront family, worked as a rivet heater at the B&O repair shops in Glenwood, Pennsylvania. She earned the respect of the hard-bitten railroad men who worked beside her. The B&O Employee magazine said that, quote, "She handles the rivets like a veteran and keeps the fiery bolts flying for 2 and often 3 teams of riveters 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Picking them out of the furnace with long tongs, Julia tosses the cherry red bolts 10 and 30 feet to the riveters with amazing ease and accuracy," end quote. The first woman to serve as president of a railroad was Sarah Clark Kidder in 1901. When her husband died, he left his shares of controlling stock in the Nevada County Narrow Gauge to her. Shortly thereafter, the board of directors voted Sarah in as president. Kidder was shocked when she discovered that the company was in dire financial condition. As a child, she had lived a carefree life on a farm, and in her married years, she had been a wife and homemaker. Undaunted, she proceeded to turn the company around. She paid off the debt and brought in new business. By the end of 1903, the company's profits were the highest in its 27-year history. She'd guided the company through a major bridge construction project that was successfully completed in 1908. Mrs. Kidder retired as president after 12 years. Women struggled for respect and equal pay in the workplace, but continued to face resentment and unfair treatment. The railroad brotherhoods often resisted calls that women be admitted as members. Despite the obstacles, women once again played an important role in the rail industry's contribution to the war effort. At the end of the war, most women in non-traditional jobs were relieved of their duties. Many went to work for the railroads in clerical and stewardess positions. By the 1970s, federal legislation was in place that led to new opportunities and better treatment for women. Those who were treated unfairly now were empowered to take legal action to secure their civil rights. Approximately 27,000 women work for U.S. railroads today, about 8% of all railroaders. Female engineers, brakemen, and switchmen total in the hundreds. There are nearly 2,000 women employed as yard and track maintenance workers. Women hold management positions in all aspects of the railroad industry, such as executive vice presidents, railroad attorneys, civil engineers, and environmental specialists. The journey from the early days in the small-town depots to position of power in the corporate headquarters was not a smooth and easy ride for the women who were a part of it. Women were part of a long series of momentous social changes which transformed not only the railroad industry, but our entire society.
I think there's nothing much to say about a system that's seen.
March is Women's History Month at the B&O, proudly presented by Amtrak. Come and learn about the contributions women made to the B&O and the modern history of women in the railroading industry.
Thomas the Tank Engine will visit B&O Railroad Museum April 23rd through 25th and April 30th with a trainload of family fun. Kids of all ages can enjoy a ride with Thomas the Tank Engine and meet Sir Topham Hatt. There'll be storytelling, a visit to Imagination Station, and more. Tickets are on sale right now at ticketweb.com or call 866-468-7630. Don't miss Day Out with Thomas, the Celebration Tour 2010.
I get up in the morning, I wanna look into your eyes. I get up in the morning, I wanna look into